Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Sumbrum. I'm the Artistic Director at Dance Cleveland. And today I am joined by Leonardo Sandoval, who is the co-artistic director, choreographer, and co-founder of Music from the Soul. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
We are so excited to have you at Keene Park this summer to kick off our season. You know, this is a performance I got to see at Jacob's Pillow last year, and it just felt from the beginning to end like a huge party. So I think it's really going to be a fun summer performance. And I wanted to ask you a few questions to give our audience members a little bit of background. Could you first start by telling us about Music from the Soul? Like, where are you guys placed? Where in the country do you typically rehearse? And how did all of these different artists come together to create this company?
Sure. I'll start how the company actually began, right? Gregory Richardson and I met in this dance company called Dorrance Dance. We both are members of Dorrance Dance and is still members of Dorrance Dance. Greg is actually the music director of Dorrance Dance right now, currently. And when I joined the company, he was already part of the company. And while I was doing my first works with Michelle, I was as well doing some street performance. And Greg heard that I was doing street performance in New York, and he was interested in kind of joining me and start busking and make some extra money. Because the word on the street was that I was literally paying my rent and living off of performing on the streets of New
Wow,
York.
that's amazing.
So that's how we start playing together. A producer from a theater in Baltimore saw us doing our busking in the streets, and he asked us if we could put a show together for a full evening show, or if we had a show to present in a theater. And we immediately said yes, but the truth is that we didn't have. And that's how we begin the company. So Greg start gathering a couple musicians, and I start like looking for a couple dancers, and
Wow.
that's how we first started our first show. The company is based in New York City. Most of the dancers are most of the company is actually based in New York City. We have a couple dancers who are based in DC and in
Hmm,
Los Angeles.
okay.
Uh, we got together by friendship and connections within the tap community and the music community. We don't usually audition for our work. It's really based on the people that we know, and like we do the work.
Connection.
Yes. Yeah, and we do the work that we do is based on the artists that we know, and like it's specific for
Mhm.
us.
And we've had Michelle Dorrance here in Dorrance Dance a few years ago. We actually had for three performances at CPT, and that was such a fun show. We've had TAP a few times. We've had Caleb Teicher at King Park, and so it's really fun just to see, like you said, there's kind of a little bit of overlap between dancers and companies and the community. Um,
Yeah, totally, especially in the tap community. Like the tech community is actually growing, but in comparison to other dance communities or music communities, we are very small. So everybody knows each other.
mhm.
And obviously, I performed with Caleb in Dance Dance. We were together at Cleveland, and it's really interesting to see all these overlappings
So,
of
have
art.
you been to Cleveland previously before?
Yes, yes,
Oh, wonderful. Well, then we will definitely have some audience members that recognize you. That's so fun.
amazing. Yes.
Great. So, tell me a little bit about yourself, actually. So, I know, the company is based in New York City, but what are your roots? Because I know that this performance specifically has Afro-Brazilian roots. It's got house dance. It's got samba. It's got such an interesting mix of movement. Tell me a little bit about your actual background and growing up.
So I'm born and raised in Brazil. I moved here to the United States 10 years ago, but I really started studying dance when I was back in Brazil. I started dancing when I was 6 years old. I started dancing because I started actually taking dance lessons because I was dancing around my house the whole time. My father is a musician. My father is a drummer, so there was music in my house happening all the time. And when I went to preschool, I was still dancing all the time. I couldn't stop, even in the classes. So my preschool teachers told my mom that I should be doing some type of professional dance lessons. So that's how I got into ballet at the age of 6. And then my ballet teacher realized that I had a very musical ear, that I had a musical inclination, and that I should be doing some type of percussive dance. And tap dance was like the easiest call. That's
Mhm.
how I got into tap dance. So I usually say that I didn't choose tap dance. Tap dance chose me. And I couldn't be more happy about it because since then I never stopped.
Mhm.
What I most like about this art form is that the duality about being a dancer and a musician, and the need of not really choosing between one or the other, because I'm
Yeah.
truly a dancer and a musician, and I love to explore those two facets of my personality as well.
And I feel like that is exemplified in the piece that we're bringing here to Cleveland. So I didn't come to stay. What I loved about it when I saw it from the very beginning, it's like you parade in, and the musicians are mixed in with the dancers and vice versa, and then you get to the stage, and I loved that you had the musicians moving, and then you also had the dancers obviously creating this like percussive movement with their bodies. Tell me a little bit more about that, like the piece specifically. How did you create the piece to be such a great combination of, like you said, music and movement? I feel like they go hand in hand in the piece more than any other tap piece that I've seen, actually. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, when we first thought about first of the company, like we really thought of making a seamless work between dance and music. We are performing in mostly dance venues, but we don't like to call ourselves just a dance company. We are a verge of dance and a live band and a dance company. So we really, really try to think about that when we are putting a show together, like how to make the audience see that we are a group of people, not the musicians and the dancers. But for this specific piece, I think the party vibe comes from more so because we made this piece like in the peak of the pandemic. In 2020, we got a commission from the Guggenheim Works and Process, who commissioned this piece. And it was one of the first bubble residencies that actually happened, focused on dance, like with the support of Cats Band, Cultural Park, and many other institutions, Jacob's Pillow as well. And when we got together to do this piece, like there was a clear wantness from all the dancers and musicians to be together, and to celebrate being together. So we came and started from that point. It was basically, for me specifically, a carnival fever dream. Because since I moved to the United States 10 years ago, I haven't been back to Brazil to celebrate Carnival. And because of like the loneliness of the pandemic and us being apart from each other and like not being together, when we got together to create the piece, we were like, oh no, we have to make a huge part and a huge celebration of celebrations on the stage. And nothing better than that to use like tap dance, that it's, I mean, my art form, but also body percussion and house dance and passinho dance, which is a specific dance form from urban dance style from Brazil, and kind of look for the similarities between all those types of dance and music that are insert in the African diasporic, and just make a conversation between them.
Yeah, you can definitely see the conversation between them. And I mean, I love how at parts you have your tap shoes on. There's other parts where the tap shoes come off. And so it's just fun to see all the different movement that you create. Um, and it's definitely a party. I mean, it's definitely a party. So tell me a little bit about I Didn't Come to Stay in the title. What does that title mean?
The title actually came from a quote from a Maya Angelou book. Um, and the book is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. My husband was reading this book. Actually, the husband that I'm talking about is also a member of the company, the pianist of the company, and also the general manager. And he read the book and he was like, "Oh, Leo, I think you would identify with this book, so please maybe give it a read." And it really spoke to me like a lot, a lot. The story for sure, but that a specific phrase, like she in the book, there's a poem that she starts with, "I didn't come to stay," and it was speaking a lot to me in the sense, uh, like I said, we were in the pandemic doing this work and creating this work, and like I got stuck here in the US for 2 years within the in the pandemic because for
Right,
visa problems and like safety, I couldn't see my family or
right,
travel. I never thought I would be so long without going back to Brazil.
right.
Uh, some of the dancers who were actually already part of the company had to leave midway through the pandemic to go to
Mhm.
Brazil. They got stuck in Brazil,
Oh,
so they
wow.
were there without working over here. So that displace of bodies and like
Mhm.
thinking or wanting to do something that you were not supposed to do, or like the duality of I want to do this but I can't actually do that,
Right.
spoke to me, and I just thought that phrase would fit well with the show,
Yeah.
and also because we are bringing this party to the stage, like you said, like we come with a parade and like we do this party on the stage and then we leave with the same parade, so it just felt right.
Yeah. No, I love that. What is something that you hope the audience takes away? You know, if they watch the show, what is a big takeaway that you hope that audience members leave with?
um I think the biggest and the most obvious one, and it's the the thing that we keep pushing, and like we love when we see the audiences realizing that, is that tap dance is music, and all of us are together in this. Like the musicians are dancers, the dancers are musicians, and we are one thing. Um, other than that is that besides tap dance being music, is an African American art form that is born in the United States and that has a rich culture and can like have communications with other art forms from the diaspora, like samba, like passinho, like urban dance styles, and the conversation between those dances are really enthusiastic for me. And the last one is that we enjoy being together. Like we are doing this because we really love and we really feel like a family on the stage and off the stage. So we hope that all those feelings kind of get to the audience in a nice warm way, especially outside.
Yes, it's gonna be so fun to be outside and at King Park. Um, well, thank you so much. We are really looking forward to having you here. I know on Friday we're going to be having some free community classes that people can take part in if they want to try to, try it out, see what it's like to be in the company, or try their hands and feet out at the percussive movement and tap dance. So people can check our website if they'd like to learn more about the classes. And again, thank you so much. We look forward to having you, and we'll see you soon.
You're looking forward to be there too, Sarah. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.